90-Day Fiance. Before the 90 Days Season 5 star Alina Kasha had all of the makings of a multi-season star. That was before Alina's racism scandal came to light. Earlier this week, it was reported, but not confirmed, that Alina was fired from the franchise. Now, TLC has formally announced her dismissal and affirmed the network's stance against racism and bigotry. TLC released a statement saying farewell to Alina Kasha, whose real name is Alina Kozhevnikova, after widespread backlash. TLC discontinued filming with Alina Kozhevnikova following the recent discovery of her past social media statements, the network confirmed. She will not appear on the upcoming tell-all, TLC assured fans. That tell-all is rumored to have filmed this past weekend. TLC shared that Alina will not appear on any future seasons of the franchise. And starting next month, the network stated, she will no longer appear on Before the 90 Days. The statement concluded, TLC does not tolerate racism or discrimination of any kind. Alina's posts, dating back to around 2015, include anti-black racism. She also mocked Muslim women and Hugh Grant's multiracial children for being kinda Asian. Alina's bigoted posts were not casual jokes, as several included makeup, costumes, and various iterations of the N-word. Alina did issue a public apology several days ago. This was only after initially denying that she had made the posts, accusing blogger Mommy Says Bad Words of fabricating the posts. The attempt to hide the truth does not really send across the message of someone who admits to past wrongdoing. Alina is not the first to be fired from 90-Day Fiance. Convicted abuser Jeffrey Paschal was fired after the horror stories of numerous exes were uncovered by viewers. In 2020, baby girl Lisa Ham was fired for calling then-husband Usman Umar the N-word, after a social media slur scandal, after fans learned of it. Meanwhile, 90-Day Fiancé legend Larissa Lima was fired in 2024. Breach of contract after doing a Camp Soda live stream. Big Ed Brown, accused of sexual misconduct, remains employed. So does on-screen verbal abuser Angela Deem. Clearly, being fired from the show is not one-size-fits-all by any stretch of the imagination. What makes Alina's situation so sad and so interesting is that she spoke about bigotry and prejudice just last year. I don't really see, because they already hated her. So there was a group of people who detested Alina for desiring sex, and despised her for being a disabled woman with a guy of average height. They jumped with joy at the news of her racism scandal, and pushed to have her fired. But, as their wish was granted and even before, the darkest corners of social media began to show pushback from these exact same people. Why? Because the idea of someone being held accountable for racism was hitting a little close to home. Suddenly, social media denizens have been just asking if the N-word is really so bad. After all, if black rappers can say the anti-black slur, why can't Alina, a white Russian woman? Very quickly, we need to remember that Alina's bigoted posts targeted Muslim women and Asian children, but that doesn't answer the absurd question. Literally all slurs work in the same way, cruel words with decades or centuries of violent history behind them targeting one marginalized group or another. However, whether the slur is racist or ableist or homophobic or beyond, the group against which the slur is hurled can use it without it being hurtful. Why? Well, that's kind of how all insults work, if you think about it. Someone can call themselves ugly, and their friends will be sad. If someone else calls them ugly, it's a grave insult. But calling someone ugly doesn't generally imply a cruel insult to millions of other people. Slurs do. Plus, slurs are infinitely crueler and inherently threatening. Really the worst words conceived in the history of language. Again, Alina did more than just post slurs. Also, while these are old posts, they don't date back to when edgy humor was all the rage, and in some cases, it's hard to see what the joke was even supposed to be. Under other circumstances, firing Alina in 2022 might not be the right course of action. If her bad posts hadn't included slurs. If the posts had been a few years older. If they hadn't involved costumes and makeup. If she hadn't initially claimed that the posts were photoshopped. Those are a lot of ifs that do not apply to the reality of it all. It's too much, and it's very fair for people to longer want to see her on their screens. We don't think that Alina is an evil person, and we hope that she is a much better person now than she was in 2015. But it's beyond fair for people to not want to see her reality TV career continue. Many bad acts can be outgrown, but not all.